Hello and welcome to the For the English podcast, your one-stop shop for Venezuelan football in English, bringing you fortnightly episodes dedicated to the Venezuelan league, the national teams, and the myriad of Venezuelan players around the world.
Hello everyone, this is Kat Sheppard, and I am going to be today's host for today's episode. And with me is co-host Jordan Floric. How are you doing, Jordan?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for taking up the responsibility of hosting today. A very suitable host for today's guest.
No, the pleasure is mine. And our special guest for today's podcast is the filmmaker Jennifer Socorro. She's also a very good friend of mine. We've known each other for a while now, and we're very happy to have her here. Jenny, how are you doing today?
Hi, very good. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So Jennifer is, like I said, a filmmaker, and we will be talking about her projects, in specific about one project that was very awesome, a film that she made. But first, Jenny, would like to talk about football in general, because I mean we even played together in Venezuela and stuff, and so we wanted to ask, where did your passion for football come from?
Well, I think it's for family. I mean, half of my family is from Spain, and my grandfather loved soccer, loved Real Madrid, and he was like big passionate about soccer. And also my dad, but my dad was like a general love of sports. And I think that those both things mix, and it was an ambient of sports all around my house, and my cousins, my brother, it's like this ambience with I grew up in. And I remember like when I was like 3-4 years old, my brother is 3 years older, and they got this set, like it's like so common that the boys had this set in Venezuela. It's a super small set that is like two mini goalkeepers, goals. How do you say the arquerías?
Goals.
Yeah, it's like two little goals and a small like tie strip ball, and like everyone has it in that time. And I mean, I was only 3 years old, and I think I loved that gift a lot more than he does. And it was like, whoa, what this is. I don't know why I thought in that moment. I mean, I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
But I remember running all the party and like can't get enough of it. And then as I grew up, I continued to do it in school. And then in a time, I think like my grandfather was like, here, sit down. You have to meet a special team called Real Madrid. And I was like, oh, what is it? Because all I did was like play with my friends and like street, Yeah. But this is like, sit down, now you're gonna see magic. And it was like this awesome team of Real Madrid, like 2000, I think. I mean, it was Raúl, McManaman,
the Galacticos.
I think pre-Galactical actually. So it was Hierro, Casillas was like beginning, it was that I think also that year, I think they won Copa del Rey champions and the La Liga, and it was like, what the fuck is this? This is awesome. And I don't know, it was like we used to every Saturday and Sunday begin to start all the La Liga matches, and I was like a fucking freak because I knew all the yellow cards, all the red cards, who was injured, who hate who, and like all these like little things, and it was like a really good time. So that was like always happening, And there was a point when like my dad was like, hey, but do you want to do this like real want to do this, like not just with your friends? And I was like in 4th grade, and he has like some connections in the Caracas Football Club, and he was like, I arranged like a trial. Do you want to go? And I was like, yes. And I think that was like the start of like an amateur semi-pro life I was in still since I was 11, and I stopped that like at 22. So
that was there was a lot of years playing.
yeah.
I actually remember your dad was a coach from one of the teams that you played in, right? Because I remember it was Market, right? That's the name of the team. Yeah, I remember that.
I began in Caracas Football Club, and well, then it was like when the La Liga Profesional was like establishing. It was just for girls between 18 and 25 years old. So the youngers and the old ones were like, what do we do? So Caracas started to like borrow some players to other teams so they can like have regular activity. And in that transition, I started playing a team, and my dad was like, whoa, really, really great with all the ambient and the head coach. And then start to coaching too. And it was like another good times, because we were like sharing all this part together, and the trips and the trainings and everything.
Definitely.
How come there was an upper age limit to the league? How come it stopped at 25?
I don't know. It was like the first year, it was the beginning, and it was like the professional league. Awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. But they were making some tests with a lot of stuff, like how was their organization, a lot of stuff. I think that first league was like a try of a lot of things. And I don't know why they want to do it like really tight with the age. It was like a little like down for us, because we were like really excited to play in that league. And then when they say the final guidelines was like, no, it's just between this age. And so it really was a problem for the teams, because at the beginning, the almost every player was like older than 25, because when I started playing, I was 11, and I think the next person that was the youngest has like 21, so all the people were like much older than me, so it was like this start to happening, and they have to like to go to other leagues. So you have one team that train in the same space of time, and it is the same team, but I think that guideline like almost like rub that apart, so you are in the same team, but you go to that league and you go to another, and it was a little bit weird. But I think that, I don't know, like 3 years or 4 years later, they opened the league to all ages.
They did, yeah. And I think that's actually about the time when I went to Caracas Football Club, and yeah, me and 4 other girls, we were 15 playing in an adult league. So that's definitely when they opened up the ages. Yeah. I remember that. But yeah, it's fun. I remember playing against you in the Metropolitan League, like in the City League, and then that trip to Puerto Rico was really fun, right, with the national team.
Yeah, that was like blow my mind. I mean, it was almost funny, because in that moment I wasn't in the Caracas, you was, but it was like all the little girls in this league like became friends. It doesn't matter which one your team was. We had the same age. We are like in the same phase in life, and we just randomly became friends. And then some of that group were in the same national team, and we make a trip to Puerto Rico, and it was like awesome. Actually, in my case, football has been always my passion. But I think that I realized like real soon that I didn't want it to be my life. I want to take it to like the next level, but like, because I want to live that experience, but I knew I didn't want to do it professionally. I want to do other stuff. So I think for me, that trip with the national team was like, I achieved my goal. I want to be with the national team and hear the national anthem as chippy as it might seem. It was incredible, and it was like an experience I never going to forget. And after that, I continued playing, but I knew I didn't. I was like I reached my goal. I want to do other stuff too, you know.
Definitely. So, and that's great. That actually takes me to the next thing that I wanted to ask, because you made that transition from playing football and to university, right? So how did that happen? How, well, you already said that you felt like you had accomplished your goal and as far as football is concerned, but when you transitioned to university, why did you choose to study what you studied? You studied mass communication, audiovisual studies. How did that fill you up?
Well, that's a good question, because I think just in time I was finished high school and starting the university. Like a lot of things happened that mixed together. That once what was that my I think the team. Well, I can say the one I love the most, but definitely it marks me a lot was UCAP Spirit. So it's funny that I met my university way before studying there. So I think actually playing there, I was like 15, 14, I think. And I began to love the university. And I remember thinking, I want to study here. In that time, I didn't know I did what I was going to study. I don't know what, I don't know if this university even make the career I'm going to do, but I want to be here. And when I reached to finish high school, for a lot of reasons, that team closed. And for me, it was something that it wasn't my decision, but it's like, I don't know, like a sign of the universe. And I was like, this team closed, and I begin to thinking like, well, maybe I thought in that moment that was the end of the chapter, and I was okay about it. And it was like, I'm going to start university. I'm going to really focus on what I want to do. I think I've been like nerdy, geeky person, and I was always into studies and learning and be at the first at the first line, asking a lot of stuff to the teachers, you know. So it was like, I'm going to take this time, because as you, I'm sure you know, when you make these sports at this level, being so young, you have to make a lot of sacrifices. If you and you want to be like a good student and a good, I don't know, daughter, and you want to be with your friends, and the parties start to begin, but you have training, and then you have trips, and then you have, and it was like, it's like a rush of things at a difficult age. And I think for me was like, I need a break, and try to have a normal life, you know. Well, when I begin the career, I thought I was going to study actually advertising, marketing. I wasn't really sure, but now in retrospective, I see that I have all these times like linking me to film, but I didn't saw it. I don't know. From little girl, I make like these presentations and animations and things like that. And I would love movies like crazy. I don't know, a lot of things that then I saw like, whoa, okay, this is it. So
Actually interests me.
yeah, and like everything in the universe is like together, you know. Actually, in the middle of the career, you see like a little bit of each specialization, so you can choose like wisely, like with
That's
experience to know. And in that time, just in that time, I was like, I want to get a little money because now I'm older, and you know, and for reasons that I don't know, the job I started, the job I get was in a production audiovisual company called Alagua Cinema. So I was there just like to know people and to have my own money, you know, and like to have this like experience in the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, that was the thing that I did it for. And then in that place, I think totally changed my life. It's like, I don't know, it's like they put me there and I found like this thing that fills me up,
Yeah.
incredible. And it was like I fell in love, I think, exactly as I fell in love with soccer. It was like I don't know what this energy is that is like inside me and like
It's amazing.
so much joy, you know. So it's awesome that I think Alawa found me. I found Alawa, and it's also related to soccer because then the movie we did it in that production company, and I, you know, it's like there's like so much a thing that it's like mixed up, but I think it is not a coincidence, you know.
Definitely, definitely. That's such a great story. And I definitely agree with you. Things happen for a reason. We might not know in the moment, but then you see it. Great. Now, when you mix, like you said, you mix football and your studies, right? Then from that little marriage comes your little child, Nos Llaman Guerreras,
Yeah.
which is the name of your film. They call us warriors. Before I ask you some questions about how this came to be, I want to give a little summary of the film for everyone that's listening. Well, first of all, the directors are Jennifer Socorro, Edwin Corona, and David Alonso. And the film documents the preparation of the under-17 women's national team for the FIFA World Cup in Jordan. And at the same time, it takes a closer look into the lives of 5 of its players: Deyna Castellanos, Sandra Luzardo, Daniuska Rodriguez, Yerliane Moreno, and Veronica Herrera, showing the challenges they had to overcome both inside and out of the field. So that's a little summary of the film. Now, I wanted to ask, how was the idea born? Like, you know, how how was it born? What inspired you to come up with that idea?
Well, I think actually, as I once tell you, like these like things that passion me, and that energy that comes inside you and you want to like express it. I think it was like the perfect marriage, as you said. It was like the perfect combination of now I have another passion, and football is one of my passions. So if I merge that, it's like my super passion in just one thing, you know.
Yeah.
So in that time, in the production company that was actually Alawa, I actually then I don't saw it as a work. I began then there as a work, but it was like a family of friends making things because I don't know. I mean, there are some works more than others. It involves like real passion and creativity, and I mean all the works maybe has that in more or less proportion. But in this kind of stuff, it's like everyone that is there is like really don't feel like it's working. It's a lot of work. It's amazing what you do and the hours you put into it, but you have like this like force of loving what you do that drives you. And this is like an energy that always has been in Alawa, and this was like what makes me fall in love with it, you know. So in that time, Alawa, when it starts as a company, it starts like a wedding video production. They start to growing really fast, like really soon. You know, they didn't think that it was going to happen, and the company grew and grew and grew and grew, and they also start to grow in what they do. So they always do the weddings, but there was like some commercials and some little shorts, and they do like a little short documentary, and that like it's like you want more. It's like a little drug. You want like more and more challenge, and what can we do? So
Yeah.
imagine a group of, I don't know, 20 people, and all was like between 20 and 30 years old with this energy, like more, let's do. But it was like for the joy of doing it, you know. So we start to having meetings, like just to think in ideas. What can we do next? We want to do something bigger. We want to challenge ourselves. What can we do? So we start to taking like this, like, yeah, brainstorming and meetings.
Yeah.
And in that time, the South American Championship in 2016, that was the championship that made the girls classify to Jordan, was happening in the exactly same minute. So I was attending and these awesome meetings. At first, we didn't know what to do, so it was just brainstorming without actually getting to somewhere. And I was like a fan, because I mean, you once you are a vino tinto, you're always a vino tinto.
You're always a vino tinto, yeah, for
So
sure.
you're always going to be pending of what is happening, and be more than in the team that we were in, I always pending of everything, and female and in the boys team, but this is like your little heart has like a little bit more over there, so
Definitely.
I was like, actually sometimes in works hours I was working, but I was like listening into the radio how was the game, and I saw it in streaming or whatever, so I was like, say, following the championship like a fan, and then they won. I remember the day, and I remember I was like searching for a good story to tell, and it's like right here on the TV. I was looking
right in front of me, yeah.
The full stadium in Venezuela, a baseball country, and like a machista. How do you say that?
Yes, the same word.
Yeah, same word, right?
Yeah.
Machista.
Machismo.
Machismo. Well, so it was like, what does these girls I do it magic? I mean, there's a whole stadium of people that come there for all different states of the country, and they also were under 17 team. It was not the
senior team,
the senior team. So it was like, what? And as we have like lived things, like we know like what they went through, so I was like, this is an awesome story. And after following the championship, I was completely convinced that they were going to win. So like I arrived that Monday to the company, and I started talking with like the bosses, and it was like, hey, we have this opportunity. These girls could be the first World Cup for Venezuela. I know they're going to win, and their personal stories are awesome. This is a good idea, and like 1 hour after that, I got an email from my bosses like, okay, if we are going to do this, we need like to prepare a budget. We need to do an investigation about their life. We need to know everything about the team. What are our contacts? How we're going to talk with them. I was like, what?
You were probably freaking out like, oh my God, this is actually happening.
Yes. So I was like, that was the moment to realize that, okay, this is going to happen.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I mean, it's worth telling that they won that South American Championship unbeaten, and it was the first World Cup for any team, I believe, in Venezuela. And I mean, I remember I played the same championship in Chile in 2008, and just seeing how they had accomplished the same thing that, I lived and I was trying to fight for. I remember when I was watching it too, and I couldn't believe it, but at the same time I did. I was like, I knew we were gonna be able to do it, and women's sports in general had to go through so much to overcome, and especially in Venezuela, because we can't forget about all of the circumstances that were happening, and increasingly getting worse. So that was definitely an amazing achievement. But so after you got that email from your boss saying we need this and this and this and that, how did the idea become a reality? Like, can you walk us through like the planning process? Where did you guys get the funding from? Like, when you got that email, what did you do right after? How did you get hands on the project?
Well, actually, it was like, so I mean, being completely honest, we didn't know what to do, because we want we want to prove ourselves, we want to do something bigger, but we have never done something like that. Because I think we were like, I and all the people in the company, I think that the company was really good on making like audiovisual productions, but this type of project is not just to make that happen. It's like it's not that you are a great director of photography and that you are a great editor and that you know a really storyteller, you know. This is like a real, like big leagues, you know. So we were amateurs, we were beginners in these type of things. So it was the first time for all the people involved in something like this. I mean,
Wow.
I have just graduated from high school, from university. So I mean, obviously I have done some things of video, of documentary, but for
Nothing
school,
of that magnitude. Yeah.
you know. So, and everyone involved have more or less the same thing. We will never make a film feature, you know. So
Yeah.
it was like actually improvise some things and always like have the goal like real like in your head. So we started doing what we thought we can do, but we had something really against us. That was the time, because once I get this email, actually the first thing I thought of doing way before investigating and knowing how the approach and the look and whatever this like audiovisual stuff, it was like I need to talk to somebody in the team. So I knew Carlos Tato Celis, that was like the head of communications, like the journalist of the team, and also to Kenneth, because in that team I was telling you about in the Cap Spirit, when I fell in love with the university, my head coach was Kenneth Seremeta. So that was really helpful that I could talk to both of them. And it was like not like a journalism from the newspaper calling them to have an interview. It was like, hey friend, how are you? I have a good project. I think you are gonna love it. Can we talk about it? And obviously they both were interested in that. And that was awesome. But then when I talked to them, it was like, we don't have time to think. I maybe I think I always thought like, if we were just a little more time, if we had a little more time, but maybe this like stress ambience that you don't have time to think is like do. And but if we do, you have to do and do, because we were one to we knew that we were one to tell the stories of the girls like personally. And for that to happen, that you are not going to do that actually in a field. You need to go to their home, you know, and you need to talk with their mother and to see her room and to see whatever you can do about the house, you know.
Definitely.
Their home. So basically, for making that, we need them to be in their home. But Kenneth told us that the preparation was going to begin in 1.5 months. So I just have received the email of an idea that we want to do. We don't know how, we don't know with money, but we want to do it. And then you have the first like wall. Well, in 1.5 months, they are going to be in concentration camps, preparing for the World Cup. So it's like, what? What?
Yeah, they had to report to training camp in so little time. So in that 1.5 months, you had to do so much.
Exactly. So we are 3 directors, because basically almost the whole project we did it us 3, sharing like other charges. It was like director, I was also a producer, and director of photography, and director and assistant. So you
guys were doing a lot of, I mean, you guys were fulfilling 2 roles. One person was fulfilling 2 roles in the movie while making it, so that made it a lot harder.
Yes. So it was at the same time, you have to think in the questions. For that, you know, to have to know their story. For that, you have to almost meet them. I was like, okay, we are going to try to enter into somebody's home. It's not like you have to knock the door and, hey, here I am with cameras. No.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we try to, but they live in different states. So they do like a autograph and meeting with the fans, and we went there and we talked to them and we talk about the project and whatever. But you have to know their stories, know the questions you are going to have. We will need to know like the look and feel the project is going to have, how we are going to do the interviews, making the budget, then finding who is going to make that budget happen, how all the knowing how we are going to transport ourselves to the other states, because they were like split for all the country, and we have to remember the Venezuela we are talking about, Venezuela with the political economic crisis, like traveling was really expensive and really hard and
dangerous too.
Exactly. So actually the first interview we did was with Daniuska, and we went in David's car. In David's car. He was driving, and we had like all the materials there, and we were like eating sandwiches that we did.
Wow.
We did, and we like sleep in a little humble motel. It was like always that make that way. So it was like too many process that needs their own space at the same time. So that's why we didn't have time for basically anything,
Yeah, so time was the biggest challenge. But that's amazing how you guys got all of the logistics to work in so little time, and that must have taken a lot of strategy, but also a lot of patience and just working together really well. So it makes sense that you guys were so close at the production company, because otherwise it would have been a lot harder.
And it was also like for you to imagine what we went through. I laugh because we have like two phases, like two phases we have in one day. It was like the filmmaker stuff, when we went through all this like filmmaking stuff about the project, but then we have to like suit ourselves and be like super clean, because we were need to go to sell the story to have an investment, so it was like in the same day you were like filmmaking and you were like sweating and like, oh, that's so tired, and then you have to come and prepare the presentation and like have your suitcase and go to a meeting with like important people in important companies of the country, and you have to like, hey, well, we want to do this story, this is going to be amazing, and you have to make an investment, believe in yourself. So definitely, that's what happened at the same time, and we know we have a deadline. If we don't have the money, this is not going to happen, and the story is going to continue, and it's not like, well, let's find the money and then we think what we can do. No. It was like the World Cup is going to happen with you or without you.
Yeah, definitely. So I wasn't going to wait. Can you tell us like about the funding process? Who funded the project, and go into a little bit more detail about that?
So this is an important question, and I think this changed everything for the good reasons. He, I think, is like an angel for the project, because without him we weren't able to do anything, and it's where we came the resource to make everything happen. That always Definitely. Is money. You need money to do stuff. So I was telling you in the other question that for us was really difficult, like merging the filmmaking stuff with this like production stuff of investment and meetings. It's like and being the same three guys that film, edit, come here, make a presentation, go to this meeting, go everything. To this company. So it was really hard, and we have a clear deadline. We knew that we could go through the national phases of the project, that were the homes of the players, and some of the trainings they did in a lot of states of the country. But we knew that it was going to be impossible to make Jordan happen, to go and film Deyna in the States. and to go to a friendly match they had in Mexico, because this means dollars, and dollars in Venezuela, it's like complicated, you know?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We have a real tough deadline to have the money to be able to tickets for Jordan and for the friendly match on Mexico. And actually, like, really, this sounds like another movie, but like 2 days before we get to the deadline that we are not going to be able to go to Mexico, and we are not going to be able to go to the States, and let's see if we could go to Jordan.
Yeah.
Person that it's the president of a company in Venezuela that calls Fondo de Valores Inmobiliarios, that basically is a company of some real estates, but of large properties like malls and stuff like that. And this guy, Horacio Bellutini, was awesome. He's like really in love with the country. He really, but really like breathed Venezuela with all his heart. And when we got this meeting and we were talking to him, he was like really seeing you. It was not like some other meetings we have, like they were not paying attention. It was like, oh, these crazy kids want to whatever, you know.
Yeah.
This guy was like really paying attention. He has like a real smile in his face, and you know he believed in the project. So he was like another guy with like us, because every person that was involved in the project, no matter it was a long time or just like a little participation, like really fell in love with it. And I think that energy is that what makes the results where the final product, you know. So basically, thanks to him, and he believes in the project, was like, wow, we are going, at least we have the resource to make this happen. So we were able to buy the tickets to go to Mexico to the friendly match. That was a real experience, to be with them in a journey outside of the country, and to be with them it was like, actually it was important because Mexico was one of the possibilities when you make like the key of the championship, you know. So it was a possible rival, and actually it was a rival. So
Yeah.
it was important to be able to go there, but with that resource we were making like the half of Jordan possible, and making possible go to States. Because what happened with Jordan is that it's not just that you have the money to go to Jordan, it's that you need to have accreditation and make a whole process to be able to be like in the in the matches, and not just in the matches, but how we want to be. Because we didn't, it was a complete waste of time if we were just filming the games, because for that we was just like talk to the FIFA, ask for the footage, and that's it. No, we got to be in the buses, in the gyms, in their tactical conversations. We want to be in the locker room, because the locker room, I mean, it tells you a lot, you know.
Definitely.
So we will want to be like wherever the team were, we want to be there. Because if not, it was a resume of the World Cup, you know, and we didn't want to make that. So this was like, wow, I think we're like a step there, but we need to talk with FIFA.
Definitely. That's great, and that's awesome that he made all of that happen.
Yeah.
And it shows, you know, from when I watched the movie, you can tell you guys, you know, were very intentional as to what you wanted to show, and the depth that you wanted to show as far as the team dynamics and everything. So that definitely showed. So you talked about these two challenges, time and funding. What other challenges did you guys come across throughout the filming process that were, you know, that was something that you were probably like, oh my God, I don't know how we're gonna do this, or I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep going, or, you know?
Well, I think obviously you have like the normal stuffs in a production, because every production has their stress, has things you need to do and you don't know how. For example, in the beginning was, how the hell we are going to do this? Because for what I'm saying, we don't have time to stop thinking, and this is our first time. So when you are like, I have a lot of experience maybe you have, it's more easy for you to take decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's your first time, you have doubts, you have fears.
You're insecure.
Yes, you're insecure. So it's difficult. And when in that phase, you also don't have time or money. It was like, I think the first walls, you know, in the project. Then when we got the money, another wall was like FIFA. I mean, how do I contact FIFA? What's the number?
That's such a good question. Like I wouldn't know how to contact FIFA, honestly.
Yeah, so it was crazy because I don't know. Edwin tells a lot of this joke because my email was like a Gmail. Imagine this kind of email like Jenny Cutie Pie, that you know, that Gmail.com. I don't know, and so we found an email and we sent an email. So we will imagine like a FIFA person like Jenny Cutie Pie. I was like, what?
What does she want? I'm not even gonna open it. Spam.
Yeah. So I never thought that they were going to answer that email. I thought we are going to have to do all and other stuff. I didn't know what. So we sent that email like with a little bit of faith, but not so much hope, you know.
Yeah.
Then they answer you, and then like the bureaucratic process begins, but it's normal and it's okay. It's the way that you have to do things like the right way.
Yeah, it's necessary.
So
yeah.
One email drives you to another person and another person and another person, and tell me more about the project, and this continue for a little while, and then actually we have a video call with the people like ahead of in FIFA.
Yeah.
And they fell in love with the project. It was almost like that was our main goal, you know, because they were like, wow, obviously for FIFA that were creating our cup of women and under 17 and in Jordan, because the reason they made it in Jordan was to promote the girls. You know that there is like obviously another religion that is not so
the cultural aspect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they make the decision to have the World Cup there to promote that over there because it's not so common, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we came like perfect fit because we are from Venezuela. It's a country in a crisis. We have this and these things against us, and we want to tell a story about this girl. And they were like, awesome. Obviously, they were like, okay, tell me more. And what do you want to do? And how do you want it? Because we want all access. So in order to have all access, they have to be like really sure that we're like commitment to the work and that we are going to do an awesome work, you know.
Definitely.
So we got the access. So I think in that first time, well, time was everywhere. Time was in all
from beginning to end.
Time was horrible, always was against us. But then the funding and then the FIFA. But I mean, and some little things that always happen, as I'm gonna tell you, in whatever project, not only in production and films and whatever, in every project has like these difficulties. But as we thought we wasn't going to be overcome nothing else until the biggest hit us, and it was like nothing else was important, you know. It was like we thought it was difficult, the things we went through. Well, we have no fucking clue, actually. So it was the death of David, and it happened 2 days before arriving to Jordan. That it was like the most fun part of the project because you are over there and it's a World Cup and we are all fans of soccer, and obviously it's like a lot of excitement for the project, personal, just to be in a World Cup and that close to the teams. So it was like the dream. Driving to Jordan was the dream.
The same dream that the girls had, you guys had as well, just from like another perspective.
Yes. Actually, that was something that David used to say, that it's in some point we felt like really related in our own way because we were both teams, the girls team and our production team, was facing some things, the same things, like Venezuela and the crisis, and then different stuff. They're from soccer and us from production, but
Yeah.
we feel like this like underdog with problems and trying to just keep escaping.
Fighting adversities.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously Jordan was like this, like Disneyland for us and for them. And I mean, for us, like 2 days before that, losing David was like, I don't know, for me, it's like but so important that people understand that it's not like, oh, you lose your boss, or oh, well, yes, it's difficult to lose a teammate. No, it's not. It wasn't a teammate, not for me and not for Edwin, because Edwin basically was like, I think, like this light that drives you to do things. And actually the one that I know more when I go to Alagua was him. He was like this mentor basically that was teaching me what I was going to do with my life, basically, when I think in retrospective. And it was like a guy like always making jokes and teasing you, so it drives you crazy all the time. But it has like this light to drive you to do things and to do better and to prove yourself. It was like an energy amazing that I'm never going to forget. So it wasn't just a teammate, it wasn't just a boss, it was like a light and a mentor for us. And it was like, you don't have words, if what can we do? So it was like super difficult for well, all the production company, but for us was like, because it was a baby of 3, so what does a father does when he lost the other partner? No, is that you have to be strong, but you don't know if you have that strength in yourself,
Definitely.
So it was like, we have to do this for David. How? I don't know how. I have no idea. We don't know how, but we have to do it, because now more than ever this story have to be done, and he deserves to be in the screens of every movie theater in the world. So it was both like a rock hard for us that basically put us in a deepest hole in the world. But at the same time was the thing that finally give us the strength to do it. So actually those days and then being in the World Cup was weird, because in the same day you were really sad and you have this duel in your heart, but then you were with the girls and you were in the dressing room, knowing that you are going to go to play against Germany, and you remember what that game means to them, and that you also have like this like script in your head that if they win, they don't win, and what can we talk with the story. So it was like sadness, happiness, it all day.
Roller coaster, emotional roller coaster all the time. Very interesting.
Yeah. So it was difficult. It was really difficult to have all and so like contrasted and mixed feelings in the same period of time. So it was really hard, but I think both Edwin and me and Jordan and all the guys in Alagua, in Venezuela, and David's family were really strong, and actually we did it together. And actually the David's like, it wasn't a funeral, but like funeral memorial was in Alagua.
Wow.
So that tells you
so much.
That tells you a lot of what the company means, and how it was the family role for.
Yeah, it was a family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think that David's is really proud of what we did.
I'm sure.
So it's really important. Was really important for us to do it for him.
Definitely. Now, going from that, being in Jordan, what was it like to watch your national team in a World Cup, being there, interacting with them, being in the dressing room? How was it like living through and experiencing all of those emotions that they were experiencing kind of at the same time? Like, how was it?
Yeah, I mean, because David and Edwin were fans, but I mean, for me, it's like another level because it's not that it's just fan. I mean, I was in that team. I play soccer, at a high level. So for me, what I'm saying is, it was like Disney. I mean, it was like, and I think across the project, finally we like fit in the team, and like for the girls and Kenneth and a lot of people in the body of the team, we were like in team, we were like part of the team, so that's like that give us the same feeling they were feeling. I mean,
Definitely.
I in the same in the first game against Germany, I think I was going to throw up. I mean, actually, of the excitement and the nervous I was horrible. Actually, from that game on, I didn't have lunch those days. I mean, I have like breakfast and then dinner because what I tested. I can't do this again. It was like so much feeling, and being in the dressing room, it's like, I don't know. It's what I'm telling you. It's like, imagine a person having the things they love the most in one room, and at that level. For me, it was, I cried, I yelled. It was crazy because in the same like road as me, they were another journalism guys, and I mean, I know there were some was like from the States, another was English, another was them. I think they're all like, or the States or European. And they were like really focused. They don't speak. They were like really professional.
Very serious, really collected.
Serious, yes. And I couldn't help. I was screaming like, ah! And sometimes it happened that when they score a goal to us, I stopped filming it. So when I send the first material to the editors in Venezuela, they like give me like like, you, Jennifer, you have to shoot. You can have feelings when you're filming, because if they have a goal against them, you have to know their faces, their reaction, the bench, the head coach. You have to. Yeah, it was like, but I was sad.
That's so funny. Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, like, was it hard to do both things, like filming and like being a fan? Like, you know, I'm sure it was hard to focus on what you actually had to do because you were so invested in the game. So I bet it was hard.
It was really hard, but it makes, like, the feelings I have, it was like multiplied by 10, you know. You was there that just filming, maybe yes, you're thinking in your story. There's another thing that is not just like my feelings for the shirt and for the country and for the story and for my project, our baby. It was like, actually, after knowing these girls at the level we did and their family, it wasn't like before. Like in the TV, I was seeing Veronica Herrera, and I was seeing a girl, the defender. She's great. She's awesome. I think she rocked. But now I'm seeing that girl, and I have been sharing with her. I know her grandfather. I know her grandmother. I know her brother, and I know like the stories of that person growing up. You know, so it's not like, I don't know.
It's not just another person, that you're looking at. It's someone that you have developed a link or an emotional, you know, link to. Definitely.
Had you played with any of the girls? Like, I know you said Kenneth was your coach, but had you actually played with any of the girls as teammates?
Yeah, actually against. The only player I played against was with Veronica. And actually, I think I kicked her a lot in the game because she was really good and she was like really fast. And I was like, damn, this girl is going. Actually, she like I think that game finished like 3-3, and she makes like the 3 goals. So I was like angry at her. Stop making goals, you know. But I think like for the difference of age, maybe that's one of the reasons we didn't play or together or against. Veronica was really little when I played with her.
Yeah, she played at 12 years old in the Libertadores. She started.
yeah. So she was little, you know. But that was the only one. But so yeah, when they kick Veronica, for example, they are not kicking just my defender and my team. They are kicking. I mean, a girl I know, you know. So it was like, you know. So it was difficult, and then I became friends with these journalist guys, and they I think they were laughing, but no, they were like really amazed with the passion both Edwin and I had with the team, because I don't know, maybe they were doing their job and they like it, but for us it was like another level because I mean, for example, when the goal from the half of the field
Against Cameroon, yeah.
for us, I
We
think
go for next round.
yes, I think I live exactly the same of the girls because at 93 minutes we were practically in the next phase of the tournament, and then they tied and it was almost like goodbye. I was like the team and but what happened and the project and what we're going to do, like everything happened in a minute, and when we're trying to process all this information, completely sad. I remember feeling like down physically, you know, like
Defeated, yeah.
physically defeated, completely defeated, and lost. So I was like in that process, and I remember that when the goal scores in the goal I was in, because we have to go behind the goals, you know,
Mhm.
and that goal enters in the goal I was in. And I remember that I don't know why I did take that moment, because it was actually Edwin didn't take it because what could happen at that time, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't remember actually till I see the shot that I because why we are I'm
Yeah,
going to
like basically we're done. Like what
yeah.
else is there gonna happen? But then
Yeah, and then I shoot it. I was filming, and I remember I have like this long lens in the camera to be able to see like close, and I was like just panning and panning and panning, and then the goal was almost, you know, like in front of me. And I remember like I jumped, I actually I kicked the camera without meaning. I hold it and put it in the ground. But I remember I jumped into one of the guys I have like right beside me. I didn't know what was it, but I jumped with him. Like, wow! And I was like screaming like I was scoring the goal, you know. Ah!
oh my god.
And it was like I don't know. It was like another level for me. Actually, I was telling you, I don't remember that when we lost against Korea, I start to cry so much that the mascot of the World Cup began to hold me, and it was like making me like little pounds. And then actually FIFA agents that's supposed to be like really serious and be like in the suits, and they were like come move, like, you know, for my expression of the feeling, but I couldn't. I was like all red my face and I have all the tears. Like I think I cry even more than some players, you know. And I remember actually that in that time, I tried to film whatever I could because I know that was a powerful moment and it was going to be important to the story. And I remember I tried to run then because I saw Veronica hugging her mother and her grandfather that was over there in Jordan. And I ran a lot, but I have all my eyes with tears. And when I finally arrived to where they were, I filmed, but I had so many tears in my eyes.
You couldn't see?
I couldn't see. So that shot actually is not like in proper focus. And it was like, and then in addition was like, yeah, because it was a blurry moment, or whatever, you know, it was like, oh, awesome that it works, but it was actually that I couldn't see anything. So I just stopped recording.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Now that we mentioned you focused, well, the movie focuses on 5 of the players. I'm gonna put you in the spot and ask you, what is your favorite trait or characteristic from each of the protagonists. So, for example, let's start with Sandra Luzardo. If you could define her in one word, or what's your favorite?
Charisma, definitely,
Yeah.
charisma. She has a
Yeah.
personality that is it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I could actually, I don't know her personally, but I could definitely see that in the movie. So it's great.
She's really transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Daniuska?
Daniuska. I think when I think in Daniuska, I think like in overcome and in like an awesome strength in within, you know, like
Yeah.
she's really strong, like mentally and physically and like capable of doing so much. I think her story is one of the one I like the most, you know. I think
it's very powerful for sure.
yes.
How about Deyna?
I think Deyna is determinism. She's like
Determination. Yeah, she's very
determination.
determined.
Yeah, that's just on target. I think you can relate, you can see from a very young age that whatever she wants to do, to go to, you know, whatever goal she has, she's
go
like
into it.
achieving it. Yeah.
Definitely, that's true. And Yerliane?
Yerliane, what an awesome person. She's a really particular person. I love her a lot. I think Yerliane has like an awesome heart, you know. I think she has like a lot of layers, but she has like a really good heart, and that it's her motor, I think so.
Great. Yeah, I've had the chance to speak with her a few times, and I think that's spot on. And finally, Vero.
I think when I think in Vero, I think in happiness. And I think she has that like real clear. I mean, when I saw her story and her mother talk about it, they always talk about her smile and her joy. And so she's like joy from the Inside Out movie. She's like like really proactive and a joy person, you know.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and I wanted to ask you that question because, and that's so cool. I don't know any of them in person, but I could, you know, you can definitely see those traits and those that personality in the movie, and you know, that definitely shows. Now let's talk about the movie and how and what it has achieved, because obviously you guys from the very beginning, you guys didn't want to just make a documentary about the football side. You also wanted to show different sides or stories, different people. So what has been, in your opinion, the cultural and social impact of the movie after it was released? What are you most proud of the movie and what it has achieved in that sense?
I think basically that we didn't want to make a movie about soccer, actually. And my proudest thing about the project is that I think we did it. It's very easy to put labels and think, oh, that's the soccer movie about that team of girls. Yeah. But actually, no, we didn't make a soccer movie. What we did was tell a story about girls overcoming amazing things and following her dreams and her hearts, you know. So before we launched the movie, that we first made it in Venezuela, because for us was really important to make that first jump into screen in Venezuela. We were really afraid that it was like seen like that, oh, documentary of soccer, like whatever. But it really moves and drives people, and that was like we hit the jackpot. We want to make
Definitely.
that and that impression on people, and that motivation, and to see that, man, you have to be grateful, or and that that you have the power in yourself if you believe in to do and follow your dreams. And we want to make that happen in Venezuelans and in foreign people. And that
Definitely.
was like the main goal, telling that story, not that soccer story, telling that overcoming story, and to go and to go to the hearts of people, that what not just related to the country, because for the for the critical situation in Venezuela, a lot of people have migrated, and it's like that feeling is like really in your skin. So for Venezuelans, whatever relates to Venezuela is like something you really appreciate, and something that really gets you. But we want to get like more than that. So I think that was it, and the movie has a great festival run. It was in a lot of festivals. It was like more than 40 festivals in more than 20 countries, and actually we won 11 prizes. So
That's
it was amazing. Yeah.
Did you guys expect to be present in so many festivals and win awards?
No, no, because the festival world is like a difficult world. There's some connections linked to it. So we were like, oh, again, this underdog that we haven't been to any festival and nothing, and we didn't have like an important director name or important production. So it was like really the underdog story, and actually the first festival that we get as a official selection was the Atlanta Film Festival, that actually is an important film festival in the States, and we won. So for us, it was like we got into a festival that it was like impossible to believe in, and then we go to Atlanta and we won.
And we actually win. Yeah.
What? It was no sense, no sense. And after that, official selections keep arriving from different countries, different festivals, different levels of festivals, and every one of them was like amazing. It was like really, really a shock for us every time we knew we got into another festival.
That's amazing. I'm sure it was very satisfying. But I mean, it's no surprise to me that you guys premiered the movie in 2018, and at least in Venezuela, it stayed for 20 weeks in the charts, and you guys had a bit over 11,000 spectators, 6,000 in the first 21 days. So that only shows that a lot of people are ready to see stories like that, and like to hear and see stories like that, especially in Venezuela. People like to see that and inspire, because it inspires a lot. Okay, so well, we have 2 minutes left, but last one.
Okay.
What comes after for Jennifer Socorro? Like what comes now? What's next for you? What in your future? What do you see?
Well, as I tell you, I think this is like what makes me more happy. Work, way. So I obviously want to keep doing things. I think I put a little bit of hold in my life because I migrate. So I knew I wasn't going to go to Venezuela before the premiere of the movie. And actually we premiere, and like 4 months later, I migrate. And well, that's a difficult process.
Definitely.
It's a really emotional process, actually. So I think that the movie was a really like sacrifice of personal things, and then I put like a little hold to be able to leave this phase with a little bit of calm. But now I think that I'm already settled and I want to get involved in some things. I haven't done some video clips. I have been working in some documentaries, but I think I want to get my hands dirty again. Let's see what project
Definitely.
arrive.
That's awesome.
So I want to return to do like my personal projects, but actually I think I have the blessing. I'm working in Disney, so it's awesome because it's an awesome company.
Yeah.
It's really funny when you say to people for the first time you work in Disney, like it's like their inner child like pops up and it's like, whoa, Disney. And I was like, it's really awesome. I work in a department that it's called digital media. And actually inside Disney, I'm more focused with the brand National Geographic. That it's awesome. The footage is awesome.
That's
so for
amazing.
me, it's like having to work with amazing clips and directors, and it's like, whoa. It's not Mickey, but it's awesome. So it's like another target, but
It's real life, real life.
yeah, it's real life. It's real life. So I love it. I have awesome teammates. I think the department is amazing. And well, so I plan to keep that. And at the same time, as I was telling you, like have more personal projects. I have been working in a few, and sometimes I shoot or I'm involved in some others shooting. But yes, I have this like thing inside me, like sooner I'm going to be able to do another thing like by my own.
That's great. That's awesome. Hopefully, in one of those personal projects, you can do something else about football or sports, because I don't know. I really, really liked the movie, and personally, I felt so identified with it. And there's so many stories that haven't been told that are worth telling, and what you guys did in the film was just that, and it was amazing. And just to close it out, where can people watch the movie? Is there any way or anywhere where people can watch it, or how would that?
Yeah. Well, in this exact time, the movie is in two platforms, but it's geographic, like restricted.
Okay.
So it's in Apple TV in Canada, and it's in a app in Venezuela that is Ticketmundo Play. Because the thing is that normally the movie has like a 2 year and a half period of life that
Mhm.
you can go to festivals and you can try to go into some channels, and it's like the gap of time you have to find windows for the movie.
Mhm.
But obviously in that last year, what happened? COVID time.
Oh yeah.
So basically the last year was not existent for
Yeah,
this
that
matter.
period.
Yeah, and well, currently it's like the same status. So we were in conversations for some things in the States and in Australia and in Canada, and in England. So that obviously is on hold because this thing paralyzed obviously the world.
Yeah.
But we want to like give that period of life room to be, and whatever everything that it's like not more doors to knock, and whatever we need to find a way to put it more available for people, because we get a lot of that question. I mean, for
Yeah,
a lot of different countries, a lot of people that want to see it, and obviously for us, we would like for us more people watching the movie is the dream. But we are trying to make like the right decisions to get into awesome platforms and to like follow the path.
definitely.
But eventually what we want is that the movie is available for everyone to watch.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jenny, for joining us in this episode, for
doing everything that you have done for women's football, because it means a lot for not only for the girls that are in the movie and for that generation and that team, but for all of the girls that play and everyone. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for joining us, and thank you so much.
No, thank you both. It was awesome to be here. I really love the experience, and that things is not only for me, the one you are saying, it's for all the people that were involved in the movie. It was an awesome team. I feel really grateful to be part of a team like that, and nothing. Thanks for your words, because for us, what you are saying is like we made it happen. We reached the goal. So thank you, and Jordan, for having me here.
Great, our pleasure. And thank you everyone for listening to today's podcast. See you next episode.